Well. I will be damned. I have to say, I never thought I was gonna see you ever again. I mean, I didn't think I would see most people come back to Sanctuary after what Negan did. It's good to see you. It's been quite some time. 6 years, in fact. I mean, time really flies, doesn't it? But it does feel like it's been forever since I have seen you. Yeah. So you're back. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but this couldn't possibly have something to do with me and my leadership, could it? Let me guess. After Negan ran this place into the ground, you split. Can't blame you, by the way, of course. Why wouldn't you split? Hell, I thought about splitting myself on more than one occasion, but decided to stay and rebuild this place from the ground up, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. I took a handful of good men and women working with the skeleton crew, and I took this place and I made it something better than it ever was. Created it back up from the ground. We rebuilt this place. That's what I decided to do. Now let me guess, you left. You went out into the world looking to find something better, and lo and behold, you didn't really have much to choose from now, did you? Yeah. I mean, what do you have to choose from? Let's be honest. You've got Alexandria, Hilltop, the Kingdom. Come on, Kingdom, really? And then you've got those skin freaks. Yeah, have you heard about those guys? Ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They cut off the faces of the dead and they wear them as masks, right? And then they walk around with the dead hunched over like this, whispering to each other. They're freaks. They're absolute freaks. They're insane. So, I can't blame you for coming back. I really can't. I really can't. Alexandria's leadership is falling apart without Rick. Hilltop never had any competent leadership to begin with. In the Kingdom, there's a guy walking around who thinks he's, in medieval times, talking like he's from the 18th century. So when it comes to solid leadership, you don't exactly have a lot to choose from. So welcome back. But I understand. You might have reservations about coming back to Sanctuary. After all, you're talking to Negan's former assistant. I was his number 2. I was his right-hand man. So you might be a little bit concerned that I'm going to be no different from him, from the way he was. I understand. I understand why you would be concerned. So let me alleviate some of your anxiety. Let me illustrate to you why I'm going to be different than he ever was. Better, in fact, than he was. You see, here's the difference between me and Negan. I worked closely with him for many years. I saw his strengths. There were many. I saw his flaws. There were more. Trust me, for as much as he wanted to believe that he was the smartest, most alpha guy around, he had a lot of flaws. He clearly did. Where is he? Where is Negan? Rotting in a cell somewhere. Because of his flaws. You see, Negan understood something about leadership that most people don't. This is what led to his success. He understood that in order to lead people, in order to have a tight-knit community that runs like a well-oiled machine, where people listen and fall in line, he understood that you need to lead with an iron fist. You can't show fear. You can't show anxiety. You can't show insecurity. You can't doubt yourself. You need to make decisions, stick to those decisions, and people that don't respect those decisions, you make an example out of them. He understood that fact, and that's why he was so successful for as long as he was, right? Picture this, if I may. Let me give you an example. Picture an alternate universe where there's a pandemic spreading across the globe. Nothing to the nature of what we have now, of course, but it's fairly bad. It's a virus. It's spreading across the globe. People are getting infected, and leadership is not competent. What do you think is going to happen? People are going to flood the stores, flood the supermarkets. They're going to hoard supplies, hoard stupid things like toilet paper, right? I know it sounds ridiculous. But it can happen. In this alternate universe, it may very well be happening. And because of incompetent, incredibly lackluster leadership, that is what people will do, because they don't have a strong leader to put them in line, to put them on the right path, to keep them safe. And that's what can happen. And now we go back to our world. If you don't have a strong leader, communities will fall apart. People will start blaming each other for their issues. They'll look for someone to blame. They'll point the finger at whoever seems convenient. So if you don't have strong leadership, well, that's what's going to happen. And Negan took that, and he made it work, but he took it too far, you see. What he did was, it wasn't enough for him to be the king of his castle. He had to be the king of every castle. He had to be leader of Sanctuary, dominate Alexandria, dominate Hilltop, dominate the kingdom. He just wasn't satisfied with trade. He had to dominate the supply lines. He had to dominate trade and the supply chain. He needed to control everything. He needed to make people fear him to an unhealthy level. When you corner an animal, it's either going to completely submit or it's going to fight back. And Rick and his crew fought back. And they fought back hard, and Negan lost. And that's what he failed to see. And me, as his number two, I did what I was told. I followed his example. I listened to his orders like a good little soldier, and I knew the whole time it wasn't going to work. But I did what I was told. And look where it got us. But that's my point, right? That's where I will be different. Is, you see, I am not that type of person. I don't care about dominating all these communities. I care about keeping my people safe, keeping Sanctuary safe, keeping what I've built safe. I want everyone here to thrive. I want them to thrive. I want them to be safe. I want their kids to be safe. I want to build something greater for myself and for my community. That's what I want to do. I don't give a damn about Alexandria or Hilltop or Kingdom or those skin freaks. Don't care about any of them. Could not care less about what they do. They can all kill each other for all I care. But what I do care about is keeping you and the community safe. So I will establish trade. I will establish supply lines. I will establish relationships, negotiations, and if it's not with Alexandria or those skin freaks or anybody like that, then I'll find other people. But I am willing to establish relationships with whoever wants to talk business. Even if it's those skin freaks, I'll even talk to them. They give me the willies, I'm not gonna lie. Ugh, they make me feel very uncomfortable, but I will talk to them if I have to. I will. That's just the kind of person that I'm trying to be. I've taken the best parts of Negan and I've implemented them as my leadership, and I've also taken the worst parts of him and pushed them away because I don't want to do what he did. He had a problem. He was a broken man. And so that took over the good parts and hijacked his system and caused his leadership to ultimately fail. So, what I'm saying is, you can trust me. Nobody knew Negan better than I did. So I can tell you that I will make this work better than he ever could. So, I'll tell you what. If I haven't convinced you, you can walk out right now and never look back, and I won't say a damn thing to anyone. I'll let you go free. You don't have to worry about it. So, what do you think? What's your choice? You want to stay here in Sanctuary, or do you want to take your chances out there amongst the dead? Well, I gotta say, I'm happy to hear that. I wasn't sure. The look on your face, you were giving me this inquisitive, skeptical look, which I understand completely. Believe me, I get it. I get it. But I'm glad you decided to join us. From what I remember, you could use a little bit of training when it comes to fighting, but that's later. You look a little malnourished. You look like you haven't eaten in a couple of days. You could probably use a shower or 2 or 3 or 4. And we've got all of those things for you. We've got a couple of empty rooms, and hell, I even have some supplies with me right now that I can show you that you might be very interested in. Some good stuff. Stuff you probably haven't seen in years. Probably since before the apocalypse. So you want to take a look? Okay, give me 1 second. Let me grab some of this stuff. Your mind's gonna be blown. I promise. Okay. When was the last time you had ramen? Well, I know, it's crazy. Don't even ask how I was able to get this. It was so difficult to find some ramen. It was the hardest thing to get because no one's making this anymore. There are no more factories where they can make this. So the expiration date might be a little bit iffy, but beggars can't be choosers. I've had a couple of packs myself. It's still good. This stuff can probably survive for the next 100 years, honestly. So this is Maruchan pork-flavored ramen soup. Now that is some good shit. And we've got a lot of work to do, so you're gonna need your carbs, your energy. Oh yeah, we've got the whole shebang hooked up in your room. Got a stove with gas and electricity, and we've got water too. Heat up some water, pop this bad boy in, you've got yourself a delicious meal in 3 minutes or less. It's fantastic. Maruchan ramen noodle soup, pork flavored. I got more. Don't even worry. It gets better. I've got the fancy shit too. Shin bowl noodle soup. This is the fancy stuff that you put in a microwave, and it's got a fancy, it's got fancy flavoring, and it's a little bit spicy. It's gourmet spicy, apparently. Like I said, beggars can't be choosers, right? 3 minutes, it's ready in 3 minutes. You can't get better than that. Really. I mean, what have you been eating out there? Grass? worms. This is practically a 5-star meal from what you're probably used to out there. I know. You're trying to wipe the drool from your mouth there. I get it. Here's the thing too, right? This is the thing. Negan, when he was the leader, he would hoard this shit. He'd keep all of this, his stash, and he would share none of it with us. He'd give us the cheaper shit, but the really gourmet stuff, he'd hoard all of it. Can you believe that? Like, what kind of leader does that? Takes all the fancy ramen and keeps it for himself. Unbelievable. He'd even use the eggs to put in the ramen. In this world, you're using eggs as a little garnish for your ramen? Are you kidding me? We need eggs. You can't be wasting it to make your ramen extra fancy. Just be happy you have ramen at all. It's ridiculous. Oh, but there's more. There's more. I've got some pork and beans. That's right, because you need your protein. You need your protein, you need your carbs, gives you a lot of energy, and this is a hearty meal. You've got can openers, don't worry. We've got you hooked up. You've got everything you need. You are set, my friend. Trust me, I will take care of you with everything that you need. You only need to do what you're told, and everything else is perfectly fine. Don't try to undermine my leadership, and we'll be perfectly fine. Of course, I want to run this like a democracy, so if you have complaints, you are welcome to voice your complaints and I will listen. But don't undermine my leadership in front of everybody. We would talk in private, is what I'm saying. And you understand why, based on the conversation that we've had today. Exactly. You put panic into people, things start to fall apart. The cracks start to show. Things will slip through those cracks. So you get it. Exactly. I mean, you've seen the downfall of Negan, so you know. You get it. You're smart. I can tell. That's why I like you. It's got some pork stock, some pea beans, high fructose corn syrup, of course. It's a classic staple in any healthy, well-balanced meal. You don't see the beans though. Pea beans, pork stock, corn syrup. I don't see the pork. Oh, the pork's towards the end, which means there's not that much pork in this, but it is pork and beans, so it's not like they're lying necessarily. Well, I guess they are. It should be beans and pork, right? Because there's obviously going to be more beans, but it's not as catchy. So, what are you going to do? A jar of dill pickles. Yeah, it's been opened already. I know. Like I said, tough times. But there's nothing I like more than a good pickle. I don't know about you, but you can add it to your sandwich, add it to your burger. We're trying to raise livestock, actually, so we will be having burgers. We actually found an old grill that we're in the process of repairing so we can have barbecues for the whole community. Yep, I'm gonna be grilling. Tell me, has Negan ever grilled for anybody? I don't think so. So that is some strong shit. Peanut butter, Peter Pan, creamy peanut butter. I love peanut butter. Once again, it's another wonderful invention that you can use for sandwiches. You can put it on bananas, apples. You can just eat it straight out of a jar with a spoon, and you'll get your fat, you'll get your protein, and it tastes delicious. You can't go wrong with some creamy peanut butter. It smells awesome. Creamy Peter Pan peanut butter. Energy drink, because you need your energy. We are in the process of actually growing our own coffee beans too, so we will have coffee soon enough, but for now, this will have to get us by. We've got a large supply of Red Bull energy drinks, so we've got liquor too. Yeah, it's not a necessity, so I don't have it here with me today, but we do have a large supply of various beers that I've accumulated through my travels and several supply chains that I've established for said beer. I'm a beer guy, love myself a good IPA. So, yeah, Negan was always a wine guy, so that's all you need to know, really, if you ask me, but it's just my opinion. If you like wine, it's totally cool, but that's just my personal opinion. Energy drink. Tell me, I know you probably haven't seen this in quite some time, but tell me you remember Pop-Tarts. Strawberry frosted. I know. This is the holy grail. We don't have too many of these, so this is a welcoming present for you. Aren't you glad you decided to stay? And if you want them warm, we have toasters as well, so you're good. Pop-Tarts. And last but not least, and you're gonna love this, I am so excited to show you this. When was the last time you had some chocolate? Right? Yeah. This is Ghirardelli dark chocolate squares. A whole bag. Chocolate. You think Rick's crew, you think they're eating chocolate? They're not eating chocolate. They're not eating chocolate, I promise you that. You think those skin freaks are eating chocolate? They're probably eating each other's brains for all we know. Good question. Yeah, I've got some food scientists that I've met, and they're in the process of trying to figure out how we can grow our own cocoa beans. It's proving to be quite difficult, but we're making some leeway in our research. We managed to grow coffee beans, so we're using that research and that information to try to figure out if we can somehow translate that to grow our own cocoa beans and eventually make our own chocolate. And that is really, I think, the biggest difference between me and Negan. You see, Negan, he wanted to control other people's supply, but I want to become the supply. That's the difference. I want to establish the product so that everyone has to come to me. that makes our community invaluable, indispensable. No one can touch us. You touch my people, you lose your supply. And that is my goal, ultimately. That's what I get. And that's what he did. He wanted to take people's stuff and give nothing back in return except fear and anger and resentment. And that's what you get. I wish somebody would look at me the way I look at these chocolate squares, am I right? So, there you go. What do you think? Are you excited to try some of this stuff? I know, it's, things have really changed a lot in the past 6 years. I am very, very proud of what I've built, and obviously it's not just me. I've had a lot of people to help me get to where I am today, and for a while it didn't seem like I was going to get out of that hole that I was in. After Negan went, I spent a lot of time wandering around the world, killing the undead, getting into fights with random militia groups and the like, and it was tough. It was tough for a while, and stumbled back here and decided, let me see if I can get into contact with the old crew and resume things. And I did, and I'm glad that I did. I figured if someone's not going to build something better, then damn it, I'm going to have to do it. And so I did. Here we are, building our own supply lines, creating the product. And that is going to go a long way to establishing a new world. Because here's the thing, right? Consider this for a second. No one ever stops to think about, how do we get out of this? You know, everyone's always so focused on how do we survive? How do we keep ourselves fed? But they don't consider, what do we do to get out of this situation? Right? Maybe we can't find a cure for whatever this is, but we can build communities, we can build civilization, and begin anew. That is definitely one thing Rick's crew understand. They're trying their damnedest to create humanity again from the ashes. And while I think personally, in my opinion, they're failing, at least they're trying. Because the thing that separates us from the animals is that we try to build more. We try to do more than just survive. We try to do more than just to reproduce. We try to create music, we try to create community, we try to create all of these things that make us human. We love each other, we love our friends, we love people for irrational, illogical reasons, not just for our own benefit. We sacrifice ourselves for each other. And that makes us something special, I think. And so we've lost sight of that because of this apocalypse. And I think that together, we can build something better, and maybe we won't be able to ever get rid of the dead, but we will be able to create a thriving community, environment, humanity. That's the next stage, a new renaissance, if you will. So, I'm so happy that you're back. I really am. I know the first time we met years ago, I was kind of a dick to you. I get that, but you have to understand I was under a lot of pressure to perform for Negan. My back was against the wall. He threatened to cave my skull in a number of times, and if I didn't cooperate, I would not be standing here today. So I was a dick when I first met you, but just know that it wasn't me speaking to you. Who I am now, who you're talking to today, this is the real me. I am no longer Negan's assistant. I am now Negan himself, better than he ever was. So, I'll take you to your room, you can get cleaned up, take a shower, take a bath, take a nap, have a sit down, whatever you need to do. And when you're ready, I'll be in my office, and then we can have a chat about next steps and how to integrate you into this community and how you can chip in. Awesome. I'm very excited to have you aboard. Great. Well, get some rest, and I'll see you later.